times. Queer times. Queer times.
Kristen. Hey, Harrison.
Hey, Kristen. How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
I'm really good.
Welcome to Queer Times. I'm Kristen Picker.
I'm Harrison Fish. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit subscribe right now. And if you are watching on any... Yeah. And if you're listening on any other platforms, please remember to rate, review, subscribe, download.
Right now, before you put your phone down.
Yeah. I figured we should do it at the beginning. We usually do it at the end, but why not?
I know. Who makes it to the end? We barely do. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, tell us you like it. Or tell us if you don't. That's still fucking engagement. I'll take a hate. I'll take a hate comment.
That's pretty much all of our YouTube right now, so...
I actually don't look at them very often. I haven't looked in a while.
I just stopped paying attention to comments on our YouTube shorts, which are basically like TikTok videos, but on YouTube. Yeah. Because it was all... We'd get like 3 comments on every video, and it all seemed like right-wing bots, so I'm just like, I don't need it.
I'm sure it is. And like I said, I'll take the engagement. Sometimes I'll engage back with those just for the engagement.
Totally.
A couple applause, little yellow hands, giving clappies, you know. That's fun.
But I've been loving the conversations happening in our TikTok comments lately. So if you hear us talk and want to talk back at us, to agree with us, to disagree with us, our TikTok is a really great place because a lot of people are commenting and telling us we're dumb, telling us we're smart.
I know. Yeah, it's weird. Like, people are like, you're dumb. We're like, I don't speak for you, Harrison, but like, yeah, so what?
Yeah.
Like, dumb men have been talking for a long time into microphones. I don't know. We couldn't do much worse. We couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not saying racist stuff. We're not, which, by the way, we didn't talk about this pre-show, but I haven't even watched the entirety of the roast of Kevin Hart because all the clips look racist as, and I say that as a comic that could take some fucking jokes, but I'm also like, really? Oh, like, I get it. The roasts have a storied history. That doesn't mean you have to bring the jokes back from the Friars Club. Like it's been pretty wild.
I did see clips and I wasn't sure, like, were there a lot of like kind of like right-leaning comedians on the dais?
It's, Tony Hinchcliffe was there. Shane Gillis was there. I don't think Jane's is right as left. They're the shock guys, right? They're gonna... You know who stood on business? Sheryl Underwood. Look up this clip.
I think I saw this clip.
Did you see when she just read Shane Gillis to filth? And you could see for a minute he was afraid, and it was tasty.
Yeah,
it was like you could really like, oh yes, correct. No, that was his come to Jesus moment, I think. So shout out to Sheryl Underwood. Yet again, Black women doing all the heavy lifting. But thank you, ma'am, because that was incredible.
Yeah, personally, I would not tune in to a Kevin Hart roast because I'm not cancel culture, whatever. I don't think that's a real thing, but I do think Kevin Hart is someone that should not have a platform at all. He tweeted in like 2014, 2015 that if he ever caught his son playing with a dollhouse, he would smash it over his head. And I think
he said he slapped a kid, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I don't think advocating for child abuse against children for not adhering to gender roles that they don't even understand yet is forgivable, whether Ellen said it was okay or not.
And I think that's correct for you. I feel like that is something that happens, unfortunately, not only in a lot of African American households, but it happened in my household. Like, these are things that also, for a lot of people, that's a humanizing thing for him because so many dads say that. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's fucked up, and I'm saying you shouldn't give him attention. I'm just also saying that that's one of a long list of things that you could give him shit on that isn't race, right? Like, in this roast, that's really my thing is like, wow, he's basically a sellout. He'll sell anything, which is great. He's a lot, there's just so many things that real comedians could have found to swing at that wasn't race. I'm not saying that race shouldn't be any part of it, but that's for Sheryl Underwood to do, not Tony Hinchcliffe. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway.
Totally.
But it was a thing that happened, and I probably won't watch the whole thing because the clips I've seen have made me go, ugh, this is basic and boring.
Yeah.
Let me say this. I hope there aren't some great... Maybe I will watch it. I think I need to watch it. All right. I've come full circle because I'm like, there probably are some great jokes that we're not hearing because the algorithm really loves to promote the race component. And you know what I mean? Like, there's... I'm sure there's...
Right.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to go watch it. I'm gonna go watch and learn something.
I'm having a similar conundrum about whether I should watch something or not. Are you a fan of Euphoria, the TV show?
I was I was a
Mm.
different person then.
I think I was a different person, and I think the show was different as well.
I haven't gone back to it yet. I'm not particularly interested in going back to it. I did enjoy it and was like a new episode tonight and we would watch it sort of vibe, but
Mhm,
I haven't found myself being like, "Oh, I can't wait."
mhm. Well, the first 2 seasons I thought were interesting. They were about sex and about all of these interactions between these, like, rich kids, and, I thought it was interesting and compelling, but with this 3rd season, I don't know if you've watched any of it, but
Nope.
the first episode came out, and it felt like watching a Quentin Tarantino movie once you know who Quentin Tarantino is, and you go back and you're like, "This person is just making porn for themselves."
Right, 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 right.
Yeah, in the first episode, there was, like, Zendaya and another actress, I can't remember her name, but they were swallowing bags of drugs and, like, gagging, and then there was, like, graphic scenes about them having to get it out of their body, and Sydney Sweeney's character is acting like a dog, and I'm just like, "This is not." It just became, like, all the shock value from the first 2 seasons without any of the substance or real commentary on society that was happening.
Yeah, I probably won't be.
Yeah, and after the first episode, I watched the second and I'm just like, I don't think this is something that is worth watching anymore, and I haven't watched yet. But if you let me know if you have a different opinion on it and if
Eh,
I should watch or not.
if people are gonna come, the Euphoria stands are gonna come for you.
Yeah. It's also become very meta because Sydney Sweeney's character has become an OnlyFans model who is using far right talking points to get more attention. And I'm like, isn't that what Sydney Sweeney just does in real life?
Which came first?
Exactly, exactly. You're right.
Wow.
You're right. I just won't watch it.
I mean, it does feel like if you're not, it does seem like in the same vein of you're not going to watch the Kevin Hart roast, you would not
Yeah.
be watching Sydney Sweeney at this point
Yeah.
in
You're right.
anything. I've been watching Hacks religiously.
So I just watched the first, what is it, 4 seasons, and then caught up right as the last season started. And I think I liked binging it, so I think I'm gonna wait for the season to be over and then binge.
Yeah, we've been week to week for a couple seasons
Mm.
now. So we did I think we did a first binge of the first season and then, but really great. Our friend Sean Patton made a little cameo in
Mm.
the latest drop of episodes, which was fun because I didn't know it. And when it's always fun when you see a friend.
You're like,
I don't know when you're when you're like, oh, bro, that's the set, that's the show to get a part on,
definitely.
so that's fun.
Their casting is impeccable. I love how they pluck people to be themselves, to really show who they are through their character with, like, the high gay woman. What's her name again?
The what?
High gay? That's how she blew up?
Megan.
Stalter. Megan Stalter.
I was
Hi,
like, wait.
gay.
Well, for a minute, I was like, Robbie Hoffman smokes weed. Like that's literally what I was thinking.
No, if you don't know, Megan Stalter, who plays the assistant, now later becomes not the assistant. She blew up from a video where she was pretending to be a corporation during Pride Month, and it started with "Hi, gay," and that blew up.
Yeah, brilliant. Who is also, by the way, a proud religious Christian woman.
Meg Stalter?
Yep.
Ooh.
It made you feel uncomfortable.
I really loved her. Now I love her a little less, but that's fine.
So she is there's been some talk about just her faith and that she is very queer and also has faith. And I'm here
Interesting.
for it. I'm like, yeah, go. That is what is required to push back on this religion is people who speak that language being out and proud in those spaces. That's really, I believe in this. I'm behind this 100%. I'm stoked. I think there should be more of that because I don't think we're getting rid of religion overnight, even though I know you would love to bomb everybody into oblivion if they're Christian.
I would not want to bomb them into oblivion. I want them to come to their senses and stop hurting people around the world in the name of their own religion.
I think that's a fair assessment, probably more fair than what I was saying.
No, there's been this kind of consensus within the queer community, like any oppressed community, that for the last 10, 20, 50 years, I don't think that organizations like religion, sports that have racism, homophobia, and misogyny built into their very core, I don't think that queer people, people of color, have to do the physical, unemotional labor and societal labor to reform them, when I think they should just be destroyed and rebuilt in something better. Like, why do we have to convince the NHL to not be homophobic when I feel like the NHL should just be destroyed, and then we could create a hockey program and league that doesn't have to be overcome and doesn't have those things built into their very core, where they could just be built from the ground up with acceptance and diversity, equity, and inclusion built into their very foundation.
Do you think that there is a lot to be said for the burn it all down theory
Mm.
in every aspect of it, right? I think that that is real. I think specifically around religion and the LGBTQ community, I think that it's kind of weird because the church is one of those places where you get solace. Like people find a lot of solace in that, either the ritual of attending church or the sense of community that they get there. And it's not, and I've just always thought that, like, when you look at people of color, generally speaking, there was still a church. Maybe it was just them there, but maybe it was a segregated situation, but like that offering was still there for a lot of other communities that isn't really offered in the religious spaces. And I think that's why I'm like, yeah, but there are still people who need those spaces to heal in, and we need to make sure that they can have that too, whether we believe in it or not. But also burn it all down for sure. I'm a big burn it all down person. I was just getting into a little IG kerfuffle about it today, about how sometimes you need to burn everything down and start over. Um, and
I
and you can do that without destroying whatever history or pretending like the history doesn't exist in some cases, right? There's you
mm,
take the good and you move forward.
mm. I don't think those people are deserving of solace in a lot of those cases.
Wait,
Religion
who?
I think religion offers forgiveness to people who don't deserve it, and I feel like a lot of it attracts a lot of horrible people because they are looking for that solace, that forgiveness. And I don't think it offers them an opportunity for forgiveness and solace without them doing the work to actually deserve forgiveness and solace. I think the idea that there are so many denominations of Christianity where you can do the absolute most awful thing and then go to church and ask for forgiveness and then it's gone in your brain. I don't think that's fair to the victims of a lot of these people. I don't think they deserve it.
I mean, I was definitely thinking about the people who I wasn't thinking of those people. I was
Well,
actually like,
I I
I was
under,
just thinking about people who were like kind of oppressed and
I understand who you're thinking of, but those people are sitting next to murderers, pedophiles, adulterers, all thinking that they're forgiven and good people because they're at church.
oh, I think there's definitely that component of, but that to me isn't real religion.
Yeah,
Like
but
like like that to me is the facade of it all in the dance. I'm talking about real spiritual spaces of healing that are created by community that do exist, right? And this is the difference between I'll send you some letters of I'll send you two letters from the group of asylum seekers that were just at the SAS house with a pastor who was working through religious trauma from other countries, Ghana, etc. And reading those really reminded me that there is so many different cultures where religion is key, and the queer community there, it's not on me to tell them their religion is stupid, right? It's not my job. And so just kind of recognizing that there actually is value in it, even if it's not for me, which I've always kind of been of. And I know we always disagree on this, I think, but I was brought up in a Catholic church my whole life. So like I have some of it. Right.
mm,
But I don't participate anymore, and I don't go to the Salvation Army, and I don't donate money to it, whatever. But I've seen in recent times incredibly powerful meaningful sentiments were shared with me that were written by somebody who had been in a lot of suffering over this, and they fixed that. And so that's what I meant, right? Like not I'm a terrible corporate overlord but I'm going to go to church on Sunday and apologize and that's going to make me a good person. Not that. That's different. In the same way that like not all Jewish people are Zionists, right? Like it's there's a difference and we have to make sure that we start to separate it a little bit, I think. Not throw it all out immediately. Who cares? It's like burn it down.
Sure. Another really fun thing I did this weekend was I caught the home opener of the Golden State Valkyries, which is the new expansion. It's the second-year expansion team out of San Francisco, which was so much fun.
So tell us all about it.
My favorite thing is you were talking a few weeks ago, and I asked you during Lesbian Visibility Week if there were any drum circles, and you joked that if you get any amount of lesbian women together in a space, a drum will appear. And at the Valkyries home opener, I would say more than 50% of the people there were queer women. If I were to totally got to meet, I got chat with a lot of people around me, and I got to meet some really incredible women. It was a lot of fun, but it fully proved your joke right, because guess who was the halftime entertainment?
The Indigo Girls?
Sheila E.
A drummer.
Yeah, a
actual
drummer. So the halftime performance was Sheila E. Who she's probably most known for her song "The Glamorous Life." She don't need a man's touch. She don't need it. Ain't much. It ain't much.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you.
I forgot. Vocalist Harrison Fish.
Exactly. But she's also known for being an incredibly accomplished drummer. So she often has a little drum set up as part of her performance. And during the bridge or something, she'll run over and it was a lot of fun.
That was amazing. And wasn't she Prince's drummer?
Maybe.
Hold on. My sister's going to kill me for not knowing this, by the way. I know that there was definitely a connection. She just dated Prince.
Well, he's known for kind of lifting people up and then sending them off into their own level of fame, like Abelonia.
Yes.
And Sinead O'Connor. I know he wrote her big song "Nothing Compares to You."
Right, but I don't know if that was. Wait, he wrote it?
And you can actually find a really great.
I did know that.
Demo version of him doing it himself, which is really beautiful. But Sinead O'Connor's version is also beautiful.
I don't know if you know this, but Prince was kind of an abusive asshole. So
he's a man.
I know, but then it's like, well, do we watch the Prince?
Yeah,
the Michael Jackson movie that just came in. What do you know about this?
A lot. Yeah.
Where do you stand on that?
I've never been a huge fan of Michael Jackson or his music. And not saying I'm not a fan as in I don't like it. Just there are people that I'm fans of, and he's not one of them. So I don't care. I mean, being the age I am, I was born in 1987. So when I started paying...
Wait, when were you born?
87.
Okay.
So basically, some of the first memories of Michael Jackson were his nose falling off or him dangling his baby over a balcony ledge. So it wasn't like those are my first experiences.
Yeah.
And I understand if you are a different age, you had a different experience and also a different culture. I grew up with my parents playing Steely Dan. And so I understand if you grew up and your parents were playing Michael Jackson, you're going to have a different experience. But I don't need to see it.
I will probably not see it. I will watch every single documentary that comes out, though.
Yeah.
I will watch every single one of those and see what happens. There was I think it was the Daily did a deep dive into how they were able to, in like a decade's time, rebrand Michael Jackson from pedophile into now like TikTok was blowing up with all the clips about Michael Jackson. Oh my God, Michael Jackson is this amazing person, and how the estate meticulously went through and rebranded this person so that now this latest generation, people are always like, oh, these people keep accusing or whatever. And it's like, well, they keep accusing because the estate keeps, I don't want to say fixing, but fixing, like character readjusting and like realignment, because the estate always wants to make money off his legacy, et cetera, et cetera. It's just really an interesting discussion about how one person's legacy has so much value and the amount of like millions go into keeping it that.
And also the amount of people that continue to make a living off of his image, his music, his likeness.
Yeah.
I think another reason why I will just stay away from it is over the last 20, 30 years, it's been so hard. And maybe this is part of what you're talking about is like, people will come out with allegations and then maybe it's the estate pushing this idea, but like the kind of our social idea of who Michael Jackson is as a person kind of goes back and forth between like, oh, he was a pedophile. Like, oh no, he was protecting these kids. And something actually happened around the release of the new Michael Jackson movie where this family that had been very close to Michael Jackson since the children were all very young, who had always defended Michael Jackson, just came out saying that
Right. Yeah, I saw
that was not the case and that he was an abuser. Which, who knows?
It
So
is
it's just like,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying like, I'm not saying that I don't believe the victims by any means, but I'm just saying it's so convoluted. I have no stake in it. I hope like there's no longer a person to punish. I hope that any victims of his can survive and be strong after that. But like, I don't know. It's not important that I have an opinion about it.
So neutral when it comes to Michael Jackson is what you're saying. You are going to remain neutral.
I wouldn't say neutral. I would say it's not. It's just something that's over there that I don't have to be a part of.
Yeah, no, I think that's real. And I was trying to figure out like where I've stood on this because I am of the age where got some pretty peak Michael years. And there are some songs that I really love, but I also just don't really grown. So I don't really have any idols like that in that way where I'm, I probably won't watch the movie. I will watch the Anthony Bourdain biopic that's coming out.
Definitely.
For sure. And I'm sure he was a problem too. Like that's the other thing is if you don't watch anything that's problematic, what do you watch?
You
or
can't
about
be
anyone.
You can't be a successful chef without abusing people. I've worked in enough restaurants to know that any chef who has reached a certain level of success generally has years and years of abusing people below them.
This used to drive me crazy. I was in fine dining in New Orleans. I've managed restaurants. I've managed everything from like CC's Pizza to like catering manager for night. Like I've been in the industry in my life and I've never understood why. There were times when I would be waiting tables in New Orleans in the peak of season and we're running around trying to make sure we don't look like we're sweating and that our whites are starched and that, we're doing all the right things. And then he would just stop and be like, why? Like, this is not brain surgery. This is not rocket science. This is not. So in the Lena Dunham book, we started listening to it, and there's a quote where she says her mom said there's no such thing as an art emergency. And that's how I feel about restaurants. It's like there's actually never an emergency. There's never an emergency. And I think this is a very American, and I'm not saying that French chefs don't have problems, et cetera, but this culture of the turn and burn is the capitalism of it all. And like crank them out and people are waiting and like all of the pressure that happens is so stupid. That's an industry we could burn down and rebuild.
Definitely. And I think people want to at this moment. I've thought a lot about this as well because I've worked my whole life in restaurants. And I read a study about 10 years ago that it's funny that you mentioned like, oh, this isn't brain surgery. This isn't rocket science. They did a study of the most stressful jobs. And of the top five that they wrote about, most of them were neurosurgeon, brain surgeon, you know what I mean? And jobs that you would think of as being really important. And then stuck in there amongst the five is server bartender.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my God, that's so ridiculous. These people need to get a grip. Restaurants don't need to be that stressful. And I'm just like, they're not stressful because of the restaurant per se. And I will agree with the things that you said, the turn and burn, this capitalistic mentality of make more money. As much as that is part of the stress being put on the staff of a restaurant, it's also crazy people.
True.
Who are dining out. And I know so many people are like, my experiences at restaurants isn't a stressful one. So I don't know why these servers or bartenders are stressed out. But you think it's like people who aren't crazy don't realize how many crazy people there are in the world. And when you're working at a restaurant and waiting on anywhere between 50 to 100 people, you're waiting on 10 crazy people throughout that night. And they're the ones that make, I know grabbing you an extra Diet Coke and bringing it to your table isn't stressful, but what's stressful about it is that person who ordered 10 minutes ago has asked me 5 times where their food is and is telling everyone, the bussers, me, management, that they've been waiting 45 minutes when it's been 8 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's a lot of
That sounded like
restaurants.
a very specific pull for you.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
That's
I was
the
like,
whole
who is
thing.
that person?
Every day.
Yeah.
But I think if everyone kind of took a chill pill, when I go to a restaurant, I'm there because I want to enjoy the time with the people that I'm there with. Whether the food takes 15 minutes or half an hour, I don't
Right.
notice. I'm having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You know what I
think that
mean?
I do think that. I think that I am now the same way. I can also, for sure, I was fortunate enough that I started working at restaurants that as soon as I was old enough to. So I try really hard to never get irritated in any way.
Mhm.
I do recognize that I have some anxiety sometimes. That happens if I'm like trying to get to a thing. Being late
Mhm.
is a big fucking problem in my life. I'm working on it because it doesn't really fucking matter in the grand scheme of things. And time is a construct. Anyway, but so yes. So I guess I feel like the more that there is tension in each individual's lives, the more that tension feels worse when we gather in spaces collectively or even just at tables next to each other. And so I feel like that's what happens in P-Town in spring. Everybody's crazy just shows up because everyone needs a vacation so bad and it's so hard out there. And then they show up and they just ooze it all over. And we, the people who live here, just spin out because we've got all the energy from the mainland, as it were,
Yeah, totally.
and the stress of it all.
Oh, Kristen, did you see that a couple weeks ago? This is a huge news story. I know we didn't talk about it last week, but I think it's maybe not the level of what we're going for here on Queer Times. But the Voting Rights Act, the Supreme Court overturned parts of the Voter Rights Act, which is going to end up disenfranchising voters all across the country, but specifically Black voters. The big sticking point was that basically they made it so that you can't consider race when drawing district maps, which has turned into all of these states gerrymandering blue districts out of maps by splitting up Black voters into multiple districts, basically eliminating a lot of Democratic leadership in those states, but specifically Black leadership in those states.
I definitely saw it. And I'm trying to find, because they decimated Memphis.
Right.
Which is really insane.
Yeah, basically they split up Memphis into, I think, 3 different districts, which basically split if you don't know, Memphis is a predominantly Black city. So when they split up those voters, they split up all of these Black Democratic voters into multiple districts, basically eliminating the power of the Black Democratic vote in Memphis.
Did you see in the Memphis House? I have to find the clip, but there is another lawmaker in Tennessee asked the sponsor of this bill if he was aware that Memphis is primarily historically a Black city. And he said no. And he went to school in Memphis and lived in Memphis and was just like straight face, just like, no, because that would be illegal. You are welcome to gerrymander along political lines. You're not allowed to gerrymander racial lines. And so he just said no, and that was it. No, the fuckery is running amok. And then in Virginia, the Democrats are like, fine, we've got this figured out. We're gonna do our own gerrymandering. And the Virginia Supreme Court struck it down. So things are happening right now. This election cycle is going to be incredibly intense, and you don't need a degree in law to know that.
Did you hear about how they're going to try to go about fixing that map in Virginia?
No.
This hits on a lot of things that I love. So basically, the Supreme Court, that Virginia has a Democratic majority, and basically their plan is to put a bill forward that would lower the mandatory, retirement age
for the Virginia Supreme Court.
For the Virginia Supreme Court from whatever it is now to 56, which would basically force retirement on every single Supreme Court in the state of Virginia. And then they would refill the Supreme Court with people that would vote yes for it. And I love it so much.
That is what I'm talking about. That
Yeah.
is smart plays. That is playing the long game. That is, I love it, and more of that. And that's what they would do. This is now the game that's being played, and so we have to play by those rules.
I agree.
Find every loophole and use it. Exploit it, even if it doesn't. Find everything that's not in good faith and do it, because they're doing nothing in good faith.
I agree. Did you see this is the most interesting thing that I've seen come out of the conversation around this, but D.L. Hughley, who is a Black actor from basically he was on a comedian, but do you not like when people are comedians who act do you think they should be called comedians, not actors?
I think that D.L. Hughley is an incredible stand-up comedian, and you disrespect him by a gazillion by not calling D.L. Hughley a comedian first and foremost, because he does what comedians are supposed to do, and he uses his platform for political gestury, and I enjoy it.
Okay, perfect. I agree. But D.L.
He's
Hughley
also cool as a motherfucker. I
Yeah.
met D.L. Hughley he came to Buffalo and played Helium in Buffalo, and DL is the coolest ever. Thursday night after the shows, shuts it down and hangs out with the staff and lock the door, lights a cigar, has a great time, hangs out with the staff, gets
Cool.
drunk. Here's my D.L. Hughley story. I was the general manager, so it was like if they needed to run errands or whatever, I was there to help. And so D.L. Hughley had a lady with him and his manager, and we went to Rite Aid and they were buying condoms and she paid. And I was like, okay. Like, I was just like, wow, this woman is buying these condoms, I think. And I'm like, oh, of course, D.L. Hughley's not buying condoms. Yeah. I've heard a story about D.L. Hughley, which I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently I heard that perhaps he and his wife have a relationship of grown-uppery. Like, you do what you want to do when you do it. Or I don't know what their parameters are, but an evolved stance on marital relations. And that someone tried to kind of tell on him or something. Some woman tried to tell on him and went to his wife. And the wife was just was just such a boss bitch about it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is our family. We know what's happening here.
Right. I mean, I love anyone who makes decisions for their lives to be as happy as possible while they're not hurting other people.
Yeah, and that is D.L. Hughley too. For best as I could tell, great person, great time. One of the best nights of my life.
Cute. Yeah. But so D.L. Hughley was on this podcast talking about this overturning of the Voter Rights Act, and one of his solutions that he suggested was that he was like, Black athletes should no longer sign with these schools in these states that are removing their own voting power. Don't go to Alabama and Arkansas and all of these
LSU.
All of these SEC schools that are using you to make so much money, bring so much money into their state, so much money into these schools, which a lot of which are state schools. All the while, they're using that money to eliminate your voting power. He suggested that these athletes should no longer sign, and I think that is such a great use of power.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think that what'll make him even more mad when UMass Amherst has a great team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If northern libtard states start winning football games, then we got some real problems.
Yeah, and all of these historic football programs and all these SEC schools are now, their rosters are filled with a bunch of 5'9" guys named Kyle. I mean, I really agree with him, and I had this thought. Obviously, it wasn't over something as important. Basically, a few years ago, the idea was that LA was going to get the first draft pick in the WNBA draft, and the presumptive number one pick was going to be Paige Bueckers. And then when it all shook out, surprisingly, the Dallas Wings got the first pick. And I think there was a moment where Paige, who thought she was going to end up in LA, was a little bummed that she was going to end up in Dallas. And I was like, well, Paige Bueckers is a queer woman. Texas is a state that has a history of homophobia in their society and their governments. They also have a history of taking away
wildly conservative. Sorry.
Right. And also a history of fighting to take away women's right to choose. So I was like, she should say, I don't want to go to Texas because they're homophobic and they are against women's rights. And I thought that would have been a great, I mean, obviously the catalyst being the overturning of the Voter Rights Act, as opposed to her not wanting to be in Dallas and wanting to go to LA instead, is a much less important topic. But I do think there is when women, when gay athletes, when Black athletes are traded around with no input from themselves and get sent off to places where they're less safe, I think that is a conversation that should be had.
I agree. I
Good.
think you're right. I think you're right. So there you go. By the way, your girl Caitlyn walking around with Morgan Wallen, huh?
She is not my girl. You know that.
I know. I just think that I'm just saying that, like, now we can't watch the WNBA.
I
know. I'm just kidding. I was kidding.
I've been watching the WNBA for years while not liking that person.
I do think that now's a great time you can maybe jump off the Caitlyn bandwagon and get onto the Paige Beckers bandwagon, because Paige has always been cooler, and we knew that.
Yes.
If
Paige
you're,
Beckers always uses her platform to uplift Black women. Paige always uses her platform to support people.
or we can all just agree it's just time to be getting behind Angel Reese.
You know, while I was at I started a conversation with an older couple of women while I was at the Valkyries game, and it was because I accidentally cheered for an Alyssa Thomas basket. She's on the Phoenix Mercury, and this woman tapped me on the shoulder and she says, "We don't cheer for the other team here at the Chase Center watching the Valkyries game." And I was like, oh, well, I just moved here. I really don't have any favorite teams. For me, it's wherever my favorite players are playing. And she goes, oh, who are your favorite players? I was like, wherever Paige Beckers and Angel Reese are playing, those are my favorite teams. So
Amazing.
And actually, those two teams are playing tonight. So I'll be watching.
Okay, me too. I didn't realize. What's today?
8 o'clock.
All right, I can do that. I got to get my league pass for the year. I don't have a league pass for the year.
Yep. I think it did go up from $33 to $38.
Great. I love it. Sounds like a great choice.
Still fine. Exactly.
I'm here for it. Do we have a QT of the week? It could be Sally Field. Did you hear what Sally Field said?
I saw an article about her son.
Yeah. So I will always make Sally Field a QT of the week, but
Hell yeah.
because Steel Magnolias raised me. I
Well,
was
isn't
raised
that's what I saw, was that her son said that the reason he's gay is because of Steel Magnolias.
Yeah, no, her son was like, there's a photo of her holding him with like Julia Roberts and Dolly Parton and like all the cast of Steel Magnolias. And his joke is like, that's why I'm gay, because like I was
love
raised by
that.
those women. And so shout out to Sally Field for being a supportive mom to gay son, who I don't remember his name. Adam? I don't remember, but go look it up.
Hell
It's a
yeah.
really great quote. All right, I'm going to go pick up some kayaks for SAS that someone's donating. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
work.
yeah. So I'm going to
Awesome.
go grab those, and we'll see you next week. I love you.
Queerly.
Bye.
Bye.
Queer is in.